Last time on Square Roots, Serge acclimates to his new fursona as he mixes it up with the Pore military, meets a man from outer space, and bets it all on North. Later, Catman Serge becomes Cat No Man Serge when a magician turns him into a precious little kitty cat. Who's the protagonist of Chrono Cross? You are! Yes, you are!
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zandt.
Heyo.
John Water Dragon Brandon.
I'd like a pizza with extra sauce.
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs like Chrono Cross.
What?
Ooh, this is part 5 of our Chrono Cross series. There's a lot to talk about in this one.
Is this the penultimate episode?
No, I think there'll be 2 more.
Correct. It's the penultimate episode.
Yes. I was trying to think of what that term was. Anything to add, you guys? This has been a shockingly interruption-free intro, and I'm not really sure what to do with myself.
I feel like I've developed a lot of respect for you, Jim, in the recent months.
Oh.
Probably because you've shot me and blown me up so many times in PUBG that now I just I'm like, wow, what a guy. So I'm not going to interrupt you anymore.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really, it's like hard for me to come to that decision, but I thought about it a lot, and I thought about how we've been treating you, and it just isn't right.
Well, that's nice.
Thank you.
I suppose we should talk about how we leveled up before we get into all this Chrono Cross business.
Do it.
John, why don't you kick us off this week?
Oh no, I'm piggybacking off of Vanessa.
Vanessa, why don't you kick us off this week?
Oh, yeah, cool. Okay, so I'm a pro streamer now, 100% all up on the stream all the time, getting those likes and subscribes. And I kicked off my career with a 5-hour live stream of the Sierra classic horror game Phantasmagoria. But I didn't do it alone. I did it with my friend John, and I did it with my friend Jim.
Yeah, it was super fun times.
It was pretty amazing.
It was great. I have wanted to revisit this game for a very long time. It was Jim's first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I am just living for his reactions to horror things now. And all I want is to show Jim scary, surprising things and hear what he has to say
Vanessa
about
will
them.
tell you what she wants, what she really, really wants.
That game
That's what I want.
is... I was talking to John about this when we were playing PUBG yesterday. The thing that's really shocking about the games, or especially the violent stuff, is that what they're going for is so over the top, gory, and violent, but the way they pull it off is so inept and goofy that it occupies this really strange space where it's fascinating. Like John and I were talking about, and we didn't see it in the actual game, but the extra pizza extra sauce scene, and
Yes.
that is so dark and violent and creepy, but the dialogue and the acting make it so cartoony and silly. Like, it's such a weird dichotomy.
And the
I
wig.
think it makes it even scarier because it's like the end of Who Framed Roger Rabbit when
And the
Judge Doom is revealing himself. You know, it's like, what is this? It's not real enough to be real, and it's not cartoony enough to be a cartoon.
Yeah.
And that hits this note because, the murders of the wives what I think were pretty good horror.
Yeah,
like
totally.
they were like we missed the one where the lady gets her head twisted until it breaks.
Yeah.
which is a real nasty one.
That one is really nasty.
But the ones we did see were, I mean, they're pretty serious and shocking. But this one was just like, it was like something out of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Yeah.
Or
And anything involving the husband, really, after he goes crazy, spoiler alert, is gold, because his acting is the worst.
And the wig he wears, it's supposed to be another character's hair, but looks nothing like her hair.
No.
And just looks like an old lady wig.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't even have the hat on. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and his like maniacal laughter.
Yeah, he giggles,
Yeah.
sort of like he's trying to be the Joker or something.
It is.
And
silly.
speaking of the Joker, we found out the predecessor for that pencil scene in The Dark Knight right out of this game.
Totally. That was actually the most it was the least crazy death, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Someone getting
him or
killed
Mike?
with a pencil was the least crazy death?
It wasn't a pencil. He slammed a lady's head down on a wine bottle,
Ugh.
and it impaled her through the eye.
Ugh.
But that was the least violent and gory death.
Mm-hmm. At least it was fast.
Yeah. And it was hard to tell what was happening because the videos are so compressed.
They're so compressed. They're so bad. Everything about the game is perfect. Please seek out the video on YouTube. Just do a little search there for Square Roots Phantasmagoria. It will pop right up and give it
I
a
thought
watch.
a fun follow-up to that would be to do Night Trap, but it's Sega CD only, I think, which is a huge bummer.
Yeah, but we are going to do follow-ups. We have a whole slew of games that we want to try.
Mhm.
And again, now that I'm a pro streamer, I'll be streaming all the time. Schedule TBD when I feel like it and when everyone's available.
Since I've got Vanessa on the show, can I request that we play 5 1 to 2 hour chunkers of State of Decay 2 for
State of Decay 2, the game that my friend John bought for me today and sent to me as a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course I'll do it.
Yay, because it's like Animal Crossing, except the island is full of zombies.
That sounds great.
Sounds just like Animal Crossing.
Minecraft. So I guess that's how all of us
Yep.
leveled up,
Mm?
except for Matt.
I didn't participate in the super great stream, but I can tell you what I have been participating in, and that's Major League Baseball. Yay! Let's go Rays!
You've been participating in baseball? Are you a player?
Yes, by watching it with my eyeballs. With any luck, by the time this episode is released, the Rays will have already swept the Houston Astros and be on their way to sweeping the World Series. No
Wait
jinx,
a
knock
minute,
on
this
wood.
isn't even the last series of games? Jeez Louise.
You know, they are really packing them in. It's kind of nuts. Like, it is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The games seem to be stretched out to about 4 hours, and it's kind of exhausting, actually, for me, and I'm not even playing the game. So, anyway, that's my level up. Baseball, America's sport.
Streaming, America's.
John has something he
Esport.
wants to add, but he's busy with a mouthful of sandwich. John, do you want to pantomime it and we'll try to translate for the audience?
Yeah,
He's making
let's do
a
that.
kissy face.
He's
pointing at himself.
Yeah, John.
He's
sleepy.
making a sleep
John sleepy
head.
on his head.
John wants to sleep with himself. Okay,
and
I mean,
no.
in the world of Chrono Trigger, anything is possible, apparently.
Oh, I know what John is saying. He had a dream.
I did. I had a dream.
Yeah. You were going to tell me about your dream.
My dream was that. There's a thing that happens sometimes with me with my dreams where I dream that I remember doing something and I'm like convinced that it really happened, and then it bleeds into like the 5 minutes after I wake up where I'm like, well, that didn't really happen, right? Because I dream about remembering things, and that really screws me up.
Mm-hmm.
And in this dream,
Sure.
I was like, Remember how we shot that 6 episodes of the Square Roots TV show for CBC back in 2018?
I wish.
And it like went nowhere and it was kind of a failure. And we sort of put the TV show together at the last minute and didn't have very good sketches.
Sketches?
Wait, it was a sketch show.
It was a sketch comedy show. And it did have a set, like, you can't do that on television, and did have 2 extra cast members who were drag queens.
Okay.
Amazing.
So, yeah, my level up is that I distinctly remember doing that, and it took me 5 minutes after waking up being like, that didn't really happen, though, did it? Did it? I don't know.
Did I shoot a TV show for the
Am I a TV star? Did
I feel like we would have talked about this if it had happened.
We don't mention it very often. Well, you know, it kind of didn't go anywhere, and you can't find the episode streaming anymore, so why bring it up?
So that is my level up. But I also dreamt, I had the exact same kind of dream today, where I dreamt I wrote a Simpsons script earlier this year. And that I was only credited as like a assistant writer or something. I was really mad because I wrote the entire script.
Unfair.
Yeah.
What would your Simpsons episode be about?
I remember there's a lot of Montreal inspired bad road and pothole jokes.
Oh boy.
And I think it was something about Marge being stuck in the basement and going crazy.
Huh.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Simpsons episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, why don't we
Hang
open
on.
up?
There was another dream, and this dream came with art. Vanessa, do you want to share?
Not really, but I'll do it.
You don't have to, for sure.
No, it's all right. So I dreamt. I was not really present for these events. It was more that I was just dreaming about the McElroy brothers, and they were at a Halloween carnival, and they went into this booth where you can like dress up in spooky costumes, and I guess like take snapshots and things like that. And so to make his brothers laugh, Justin dressed up in a t-shirt and a loincloth made of the American flag. And in my dream, he was walking around. It did make his brothers laugh, and it made the people working at the booth laugh as well. And that was my dream. And I woke up, and I drew a picture of it, and I sent it to the group chat.
Oh, I haven't even seen this yet. Was that today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's it. I did sort of cheat on the amount of leg hair that he has, because in my dream he definitely had both leg and thigh hair.
Okay.
Wow. So detailed.
It was very detailed. I am happy that it was not a dream of a particular oeuvre, because I don't feel that way about my fellow podcasters.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a solid goof, and I think you should go for it.
All right. Well, that suggestion, Justin McElroy, brought to you by Vanessa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wear a flag as a loincloth would make me vote.
And segueing to the Chronosphere.
The
Chrono
record
Chronicles?
of fate, right?
The record of fate.
You know something's going to happen with fate, too, because every time a character says it, it's in quotations. Break the chains
like,
of
And all caps.
You know,
fate.
Yeah,
Fate?
it's in all it's always in all caps.
Yeah.
Fate. So fate's a person that we're gonna fight. Is
You guys talking about F.A.T.E. all caps?
I will say this game is very good, but the things we will talk about tonight make me want to not like it as much. But
Chrono
we'll
Cross?
talk about it.
I
yeah,
didn't dislike this little chunker.
I
at
dislike
all.
the exposition.
I mean, it's just exposition. And I do like them dragons. Can't wait to talk about that Earth Dragon with his, like, snail eyes. Big fan.
Wiggly, jiggly, snail eyes.
He was fun.
Yeah, he was great.
So,
Vanessa, do you mind starting us off so I can finish my sandwiches?
Sure.
Thank you.
So last time, you'll remember that we got the Blessed Sword Einlanzer
we did it.
to break the curse of the Massamune I always want to say Masamune. I have no idea. Masamune, I guess, is what it's called. So we take the sword to Death's Door, and Radius whips out the Einlanzer, and the Masamune disappears. And Radius is like, hooray, we did it. And then we walk through the gate to Death's Door, and I would really like Jim to describe what we see.
We see like a big frozen sea. And it's like you see this like still frozen in time ocean with a bunch of like ruins littering it.
It's very much like the future world from Chrono Cross.
Yeah, except like
Chrono Trigger.
everything's like frozen. Because you're like walking on the
Yeah.
ocean as you traverse between the different like places.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. It's sort of beautiful in its way. And it's weird map. It has creatures on the map proper, but then you also go into mini areas.
Yeah,
and
there
they're
are
like little.
enemies.
They look like save points.
Yeah, there are enemies in the dungeon and also enemies on the overworld map.
Did we
Which is the only time I think we see that in this game.
really? It's fine.
I liked the ruins, like the dungeons that you go through. I thought those were really cool, and it was pretty trippy to go through like a future area, like a shopping mall, a ruined
Yeah.
shopping mall. It was pretty neat.
Yeah. So we go through some ruins of a highway where we battle the highwayman, who's just like a boss that's there for no apparent reason. And we beat it. It's pretty easy. John said that he saw the corpse of Johnny here.
I think it's supposed to be Johnny. Yeah, you can't really do anything with it. It's there, like it looks like something you should be able to interact with based on like how it's rendered. But
Yeah, it's like polygons. It's not part of the background.
yeah, but you can't do anything with it.
What do you want to do with it,
Well,
Jim?
I want it to interact with it and it to be like, oh, what's this?
It's his body. You want to interact with his dead body?
Yeah, I want the game to be like, hey, this is Johnny. Remember that character you liked that added so much charm to Chrono Trigger? Guess what? He's dead now, and he's just on the side of the road.
This
Can he die, though? I mean, I know he was sentient, but he wasn't.
he was like half
organic.
human, half machine, right?
He was like half like. To me, he had I don't know what he was. He wasn't a
Johnny
human,
was
but
like
he
a
was
robot
like.
chicken, wasn't he? I think he was a robot chicken.
To me, he had he reminded me of like an ant wearing sunglasses with a motorcycle, or like a motorcycle body, or like a hot rod body. But you know what? Let's find a picture of him. Johnny is a cyborg.
Okay, so it looks like Justin McElroy wearing
It does
an
not.
American flag.
Stop.
Okay, so he's got like a big ant head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he does kind of have an ant head, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But he's got hair, spiky hair, and
He's got a mohawk.
sunglasses. He doesn't really have an ant head so much as he just has an oval for a head with
It's like a
sunglasses on it. He
football
doesn't
head.
even appear to have eyes or ears. It's just an oval.
But he can he's like a transformer in that he can transform himself into a three-wheeled motorbike.
Let's go ahead and see if we can get Chrono Cross Johnny corpse. See what happens.
Like, why would you do this? Like, just this fun comedy relief character. Just be like, oh, and you remember that guy? He's just here, dead on the side of the road.
I mean,
You
I
can't
think
do
that's
anything
pretty
about it."
definitively him.
When you look at it again as Johnny, you're like, oh yeah, that's him. He's dead.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess you're right. There he is.
but why would you do this, Vanessa?
Well, anyway, definitely Johnny. So that's fucking cool. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Chrono Cross. You know what? I'm not going to complain about it. I've made my peace with it. Gang, I like Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross is a good game. It is a bad sequel to Chrono Trigger. But
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know?
The game should have had a sticker on it on original release. It was like, if you like Chrono Trigger, don't play this game.
If you
I
are
thought this-
looking to revisit that beloved game, take a pass.
Just replay
This section
Chrono Trigger.
2 was, I think, the best looking area in the game. Like, it
Oh,
looks
totally.
amazing.
Yeah, it looks great.
Even in the fight scenes, it's like, it's really cool to be around these towers, and it looks great. for a PS1 game.
Did
So-
you
They do a lot of
guys-
great stuff in the little fight arenas. I noticed that in Viper Manor, when you're in the sewers, like bugs will crawl out of the walls and stuff.
Mhm.
It's pretty neat.
And it does like a really loving pan around the arena as it loads the characters in.
Yeah. It's all a little herky-jerky for me, unfortunately, but...
Well, yeah, it's running at like 20 frames. Well, except it's got an unlocked frame rate, so it like starts off at this like silky smooth 60 frames per second, and then goes down to 15, then up to 20.
Maybe I
Did you
should turn
guys
that
pick up
dynamic
the
camera off.
the prop sword in this area?
I
Yeah.
did. I don't have
Mhm.
Pierre yet. So, so there's a bunch of items like this that will give someone their level 7 limit break thing. But how do you get them an item to give them their limit break? Like, how does that transfer?
Because it's an element.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because like so when you get one for a character, you just equip it in their level 7 elements.
Yeah, but he's saying the prop sword, because the prop sword shows up in your item inventory.
Like when you hit square and open up your key items,
we
it's
understand
in there.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, so I have to find Pierre and then
Yes,
give it to him.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
They are all in
Oh.
locations around the world. You can find anybody that's not in your party.
Right.
That's true.
Well, except right now because
Well, sometimes.
like things are messed up,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's also a city ruin area with a tower you can go into.
Yeah.
And there's a broken monitor in there. Did you do that, Matt? I didn't actually do it.
I did, and it's hilarious because Norris is like, "Oh, I'm a computer engineer, actually," and he like changes the
No, he's
fucking
not.
batteries, and you're like, "What?
He's a liar.
You're a fucking dork."
Norris is a soldier from the year 1040.
It's
He's not a computer engineer.
pretty dumb." But anyway, he manages to get the power source on the computer working long enough for it to show you Lavos.
Oh,
Bum,
remember
bum,
Lavos?
bum.
Remember
Not
Lavos?
really. Tell me about Lavos. What was Lavos' deal?
He was an intergalactic alien parasite that landed in the original Chrono Trigger. He landed in prehistoric times, destroyed all of the reptites, and eventually made his way to the surface and destroyed the world. He was also used to the Kingdom of Zeal tried to harvest power from him with disastrous results.
Whoa.
Right.
Ooh, I remember.
Yeah.
And he looked like a Beetleborg. He was a little bug man.
Yeah, he was the worst designed part of Chrono Trigger, I think.
Lavos was?
Yeah.
I kind of like Lavos' cute bug design.
I like the bug, but the stuff on the inside I didn't like.
Oh, right. Wasn't there like a little alien man or something?
Yeah, like a
inside
little
there?
alien. There's like a big robot guy, and then the big robot guy becomes a little alien thing.
Right.
Definitely
I forgot
the
about
big
that.
alien looked like Cell from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it didn't look. It just didn't fit the rest of the game.
That looks like a Phantasy Star. His robot form looks like a Phantasy Star bad guy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pretty
Yeah.
So
dumb.
there he is.
So it was just an alien. That's actually, I like that. I kind of forgot.
So it's interesting that this like tying back to Lavos thing is just a very optional hidden area that you can like find at the edge of one of these city maps.
Well, yeah,
mean-
but I mean the and we'll find out. Vanessa probably knows what I'm talking, and I won't spoil it, but it does factor into, and this is all like secret ending of the Chrono Trigger stuff that they tie into it. But Lavos does get mentioned more.
Yeah. It starts to come up
Yeah.
here and there.
I mean,
okay.
that makes sense, I guess. Speaking of optional side stuff, like this game has some wild optional stuff. We're gonna discuss soon.
Matt and I did encounter, let's just call it a 20-minute rock opera.
I am very excited to hear about
It's
this.
crazy. That
I
it's
watched
an
it on YouTube
optional
today.
fucking thing. It's crazy. Anyway,
Well,
we'll get there.
Pressing forward, we then reach the Tower of Gadon.
Tower of Geddon.
Tower of Geddon, which is
And-
a mall.
Yeah, it's just a shopping mall.
You think the Tower of Geddon's going to be like a weird cyber dungeon full of bodies and mauled robots, but nope. It's a lovely shopping center.
Yeah, it's like, Mom, can we go to the Tower of Geddon today? I want to pick up some new clothes.
Oh, sweetie, we went to the Tower of Geddon earlier this week, and every time I go,
Mom?
you just start begging for toys.
Well, there's so many cool things there. Mom, come on. I'm so
Parking at the Tower
bored.
of Geddon is always a nightmare.
You just have to park on the 3rd floor and you never go up that far. You just drive around the 1st floor looking for a spot. There's like a million places on the 3rd floor.
I don't want to park up there because there's drug users.
Aw.
So, yeah, we head to the lovely Tower of Geddon, which is a fun mall. There is Serge does see a kid, but it's not kid. It's kid with 1D, so not kid.
Yeah, it's a child.
It's a kid, not
It's a kid, not kid.
Yeah.
It's not B kid who is in our party.
Right. It's not alternate world kid, nor is it homeworld kid. It's just a kid.
just a kid.
Right. And so you head to you go around here. There is at one point you do need to get a station pass off on the side to get some extra treasure, and there is a friendly ghost who does let you use his transit pass. I think the friendly ghost is like, "Come on, honey, you're going to miss the train."
Yeah.
Yeah, they're ghosts.
I don't think it's so much a ghost as it is like a time echo.
Yeah,
Right.
that's. I mean, after you speak to the guy we're about to speak to, that's kind of what I understood as well.
Mm-hmm. And that's
You know, it's like ghosts are sort of, I always think of aware that they're ghosts and they're doing new things that they didn't do while they were alive. But a time echo just does whatever it did while it was alive over and
Yeah.
over again.
I will say
I
that
would
I
say
understand the time echo thing, but that's kind of maybe the last thing in this chunker that I feel like I understand. I don't feel like I get anything that happens after.
For more about how to recognize time echoes versus ghosts, just see Vanessa's new book coming out in March.
mm-hmm.
But
What's it called?
Time Ghosts.
called-
The
yeah,
ghost,
Time
what you
Ghost.
don't know is time.
time echoes are from Venus, ghosts are from Mars.
Ooh. What to do when you have a crush on a time echo?
The 10 kinds of ghosts you'll meet on Earth.
And at the end of the movie adaptation, Dame Judi Dench turns to the camera and says, "Time echoes are not ghosts."
Oh, the best movie of 2019 right there.
What year?
2019.
Why would it come
Cats
out in
came out
2019?
last December.
Oh.
Oh, that's a Cats reference.
Oh. Sorry.
It's the best. At the end of that movie, Judi Dench turns around and looks at the camera and said, what does she say? She's like, cats
Cats
are not
dogs.
dogs. That's it.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
What a great movie.
It's fantastic.
It stinks.
So, yeah, you run around here, you see little kid again, and now I had Harl in my party here.
Harley.
Mm-hmm.
But she does like keep stopping. I don't know if this happens if she's not in your party, where she's like, "Hey, do you keep seeing a kid, Serge? Are you seeing things? What's going on here?"
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I feel like you do talk with one of the party members.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't remember
so
who I
it'll
had
be
with me
whoever.
at this point. It's probably Fun Guy, because I had Fun Guy for a long time. I had a pretty
Sadly,
good
you
time
don't
walking
have-
around as a cat man, a giant, terrifying mushroom zombie, and either a little baby dragon or a space alien in a bubble helmet.
That you and Vanessa, I know, would have Pip in your party, but you don't get Pip for another hour or two.
Yeah,
That's
Pip is the
right.
one character you can have on both sides, apparently. Is
Yeah.
this game
I'm
are we gonna go all the way to the
back.
end of the game as Lynx, do you think? John? Nobody else answer?
Oh, I feel like it's prepping me to switch back to Serge pretty fast here.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, like that seems to be what we're doing with all the dragons. So I think as soon as we got like the 6 dragons and do that dungeon, we'll switch back to.
Have we at
really
this
like
point in the
Lynx's
game?
spells.
At this point in the game, do you guys feel like you've been playing more as Surge or as Lynx?
Well,
I
if
mean,
you
it
look
feels
at
pretty split.
episode wise, I think we've had 2 episodes as Lynx so far, right? Or is it only one episode?
This would be the third.
No, wait. I thought last episode we started.
Yeah, last was the
Oh,
first.
last was the
This would be
first.
the
So
second.
2 counting this one.
Yeah. So I think it'll be it's half and half. Because next episode, I think we're
weird.
going to
That's
keep
weird,
playing
right?
this Kitty Cat Man.
It's definitely the most interesting twist and one of the neatest ideas of the game. The switch
Yeah.
to Lynx made the game better, as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
It did.
I
It
like
totally
100%.
did.
I like crazy twists. I like that this game is comfortable going disc 3 crazy from basically halfway through disc 1.
From the jump.
I mean, taking you to Van Gogh Land and making you walk through an Escher maze as a Catman is pretty fucking disc 3 crazy.
It is.
Add disc 3
I
crazy to the bingo
love it.
card.
I like how once you turn into a cat man, you turn into a real cat later.
You do. And you have feral cats, which is a move I use all the time, and it's always delightful.
Yep, Feral Cats is a delight. I really like Lynx's later spells. Black Hole and Free Fall are both awesome.
Yeah.
I still don't have Black Hole. I gotta get that
Free Fall tosses the enemy up into the air and then brings them down at as a meteor with fire around him. It's pretty great. Smacks him
one.
into
I
the
have that
ground.
one.
Black Hole, which I did steal from an enemy at some point, and I was very glad that I did, because it hits everyone and is very powerful. It does sometimes up to 500 damage. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, and on weaker stuff. But even on the harder stuff, like bosses, it'll do 200 to 300. But anyway, it a big black ball drops out of the sky, like a matte ball, I don't know, maybe it's dark matter or something.
Like a mat ball, like a ball of mat.
Matte black
no.
ball.
Yeah, Matt's black ball
Goddamn.
drops out.
and it sucks
that
the
checked.
entire screen in. It sucks the enemies in, and then it just sucks everything else around it in. And then it flashes white, and everybody's back and really injured. It's
Have
great.
you guys seen any of Orcha's spells yet?
I have not
Orcha's
used
text?
Orcha.
Oh, they're pretty good.
Yeah. I've cooked up an enemy.
I
That was
did.
pretty
I
great.
cooked up one of the dragons you fight later, and it's pretty funny watching the dragon. doing the little thing.
Guys, we don't even have Orchard
All
yet.
right. Well, what are we?
We should
we're
talk
Tower
about
of
some of
Geddon.
these when we get to them, though, because some of those, or maybe towards the end, some of the special attacks, it really kind of makes collecting a lot of these characters worthwhile because they can be really fun and
Yeah.
also hit really fucking hard, which is always great.
So, you remember how Norris said that all the Acacia Dragoons had gone in here and didn't come out? You do find them frozen in place going towards the end zone of
Yep.
this Tower of Geddon,
Yeah,
which is a spooky.
it is pretty creepy. It's a creepy little thing.
Does that mean that they were in there when the world froze?
I think that they got frozen by time because they were. I mean, Miguel's about to quote unquote explain what's going on here. So they're
He explains nothing.
they're from 1023 or whenever this is happening, and but something they could not survive the time paradox. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
Also,
they
you were
get-
saying.
They get kind of frozen in place. The only person that's allowed in is the only person that's allowed in here the chosen one, which is Lynx.
I don't know.
I don't know why I thought this or why I think this, but I feel I for some reason was like, oh, he has the astral amulet. That's why he's fine.
Oh,
But
that-
because
I buy that.
that's the thing that triggers all the time stuff in Chrono Trigger and in this one.
No, it's Serge, the Chrono Trigger.
But he switches worlds with the astral amulet.
I mean, that makes
but
sense,
Vanessa,
Jim, but that's not what they say.
I just wanted to actually actually you for a minute.
Oh wow.
John going to a dark place.
So you know how Luca could fix robotics and stuff, even though she was from 999 BC.
Luca was special.
But Luca was an engineer, and her weapon was a science gun, right?
Yeah.
Norris also uses a science gun, just like Luca, and has her engineering abilities. And that's
Okay.
what...
No, listen. I can use a computer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you took me, like, what is this, 2,000 years into the future
Mm-hmm.
and sat me down in front of a computer and was like, use this, I wouldn't know what the hell to do. It probably wouldn't even have buttons.
So you're fine with Luca going to the future and fixing Robo, even though would have no knowledge of robotics? But
Luca
not
was
Norris because he's a man. Is that what you're saying?
Luca was
Vanessa?
a genius, John. She had
Norris is a
already
dweeb.
invented a teleporter.
And my objection wasn't that he could fix it theoretically. It's that he's lying. He says he's a computer engineer when we know he's a soldier.
I'm just saying he has Luca's abilities.
He doesn't have Luca's abilities. That's an outrageous thing to say.
Why?
Because he doesn't.
Wait, you mean like gameplay abilities?
No, I mean Luca's technical abilities.
No, why would he
'Cause
have
she's-
those?
Because he's just as good. Like he's got the same weapon as her.
Let's
so I
examine this
assume-
from another angle. Why is John standing so hard
Yeah,
for
why
Norris?
is John dying on this hill that Norris and
He's
Luca are the same?
beautiful floppy hair, obviously.
That's a Vanessa thing.
I know.
That's my thing.
But that is why I thought he could do this was because he was sort of an homage to Luca. But
He's not.
okay.
You're probably right.
I sound like Seinfeld.
I mean, Glenn is supposed to be an homage to Frog, right? Like,
Yeah.
No, that's just a ripoff. That's not an homage. It's just a ripoff.
So we go to the next screen, and maybe Jim could tell. I don't know. Does Jim or Vanessa want to talk about Miguel?
Miguel. It's me. Miguel.
I mean, I'm about to learn some information that I feel like was not imparted in the game, which is that Miguel is Lena's father.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do learn that, right?
I
Well,
kind of
she-
vaguely do remember them talking about Lena's father, Miguel, at one point super early in the game, but was I supposed to remember that and tie this together?
Well, he does say, "Oh, Lena," or something at the end when
yeah,
he's dying.
like Lena.
Oh, he
my
does, and I
daughter."
was like, wait
Yeah.
a minute, who's Lena again? Because she's never been in my party, so I kind of forgot
Yeah.
about her.
It's also
Yeah, so we get to
it's
this-
confusing because Lena is a name that's supposed to refer to, Queen Lean, Leene, who's from Chrono Trigger. This encounter with Miguel takes place in front of Lean's bell from Chrono Trigger, and he's mentioning Lena. The whole thing is really confusing.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you remember,
What happens if Lena's in your
Serge's-
party? Or I guess she can't be because of the swap.
Yeah, she would have been gone when you switch the links.
Yeah, she's not there. So Serge's dad went on a boat trip with Miguel and his son.
It wasn't a boat trip.
A lovely boat trip.
It wasn't like a pleasure cruise.
Just like that film. What's that film? The camp film?
Gilligan's Island.
No, there's a camp film where the dad and his male lover.
Oh,
I can't remember.
Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah,
Sleepaway
it's
Camp.
just like Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, where he gets killed by the boat prop.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The
That's
best
one of the
episode
best-
of How Did
that's
This
one
Get
of the-
Made?
That's one of the best opening scenes of any horror movie.
Hmm.
No, they don't go on a lovely boat trip. Serge has been bit by a panther demon, and they're desperately searching for a cure. I think they're trying to take him to the mainland or something, and they get blown off course.
You know what's really interesting is there's
Say this in the game? I didn't catch any of this.
Yeah, it does. It says it right before they show you in the big building. But it's interesting. At what point does a panther, which is what they show you multiple times in the game, become a panther demon?
I think it's just a panther, and they're just being dramatic.
Okay.
They're like, oh, that demon panther got him. You're out on a walk, and a cougar shows up, and you're like, be gone. It was a demon cougar.
But wasn't the panther demon also Lynx?
I don't
What makes you say that?
Because
Lynx
that
isn't even a
flashback where
panther,
Lynx
he's a
was like,
lynx.
remember when we met 10 years ago, and then it's a flashback to the panther running to bite.
Yeah, we see it a million times.
Yeah.
And sometimes it ties to
Lynx
links.
isn't a
Yeah,
panther,
I don't
he's
understand
a
it.
lynx. It's a whole different cat.
I totally
know,
understand what you're
but the
saying,
games-
Vanessa, but they do imply it several times.
Yeah.
Like when the switch happens, there's like a flashback to like the Panther, and it's like swapping between Lynx's eyes and the Panther's eyes. And Lynx talks about Surge as if he knows him from that incident.
This I believe all gets explained later. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vanessa.
why don't
but
you
I'm
stop
pretty
spoiling
sure.
things?
No, it does.
Okay. So
He comes
so
out and I was trying to nail down his trying to nail down his speech cadence as I was reading it, and I could only come up with how Vanessa was talking earlier.
Miguel?
Miguel.
Because there's,
It is
I think
I.
I sent this to you guys yesterday, but he's talking about Lavos coming and destroying the future. So he's like, Lavos ends humanity as we know it, and this is a future that comes to pass. And then the next dialogue box is, were it not for a teenage boy and his group of adventurer friends. Excuse me?
Did we mention how there's a ghost Chrono, Luca,
Yes, you
and
follow-
girl Marley? Was that her name?
I always pronounce it as Marl. We can say Marley. But yeah,
Every time.
he follows ghosts of them, and fucking Chrono talks here too. He calls you a murderer.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But it's not really Chrono. It's like a child version of Chrono. Not even like a teenage
it's
version
like
of Chrono.
They're like babies.
Yeah,
They're
they're like-
the
I didn't
Chrono
realize that
babies.
was supposed to be Chrono.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Chrono. And
Oh, jeez, that's
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah, so like the Chrono babies are there. Miguel is there. Miguel comes out and he's like, "It's me, Miguel, your dad's best friend. We took you here and healed you, and fight me because
Yeah.
because
Well, what you learn-
like he doesn't really make it clear like why he
Well,
wants to
he
fight
says
you.
I don't remember why, but he makes it sound like you have to fight him in order to he has to be defeated, which I don't understand why, but that's kind of what he implies.
Yeah.
But he tells you that this place that you're at is like a mishmash because this is complicated, but he's like, every time you make a choice, there's a divergent reality, and all of the realities that don't get picked as the actual reality end up here all mishmashed together, along with the future where everybody gets killed by Lavos.
Which is kind of a cool concept, alternate universe theory, but with this twist that all the unchosen universes get mishmashed.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, didn't he say that until Serge's dad brought Serge in, it wasn't this way, it wasn't destroyed, but when Serge Serge's dad took Serge to get healed, that started a process which started destroying and corrupting this mishmash of timelines.
Yeah, that's why they call Surge the Chrono Trigger, is because something that happened, him not being killed is this catalyst that triggers the Lavos destroying the world future. That's what makes it happen again.
Oh, so
he goes into. We do get a cutscene of Miguel and Serge's dad, with Serge's dad carrying Serge on his back, and somebody they're in the mall or whatever, and somebody is calling to Serge's dad and telling him bring me the child. So something's up there.
Something's up.
Somebody has done this.
Yeah, and I think someone later on mentions. Oh, one of the dragons mentions who I think it was. But we'll get there when we get to the dragon. So yeah, the whole play. So then Miguel says that you have to defeat fate.
Yeah, this is after we fight Miguel. He's lying on the ground and he's like, you have to defeat fate because the Dead Sea is what the planet's real future was like because of Lavos, but then this teenage boy defeated it, but then you undefeated it, and now you're the Chrono Trigger.
By the way, after you defeat him, he has a really funny line of dialogue where he says, "Oh, child, you've gotten so strong."
No, and also I've noticed, like, you mortally wound him. You don't just, like, beat him up a little bit.
Hold on, can we touch again on how... so, like, as you're explaining, before Miguel makes his appearance, like, comes out from behind Lean Bell and makes his dramatic entrance, you get, like, this whole concept gets introduced by, like, the Chrono babies. And they, like...
Chrono babies,
and right
make
at the
your
end
dreams
of...
come
Basically,
true.
they chastise you. They chastise you really hard. They're like, how could you do this? We worked so hard to defeat whoever. And then Chrono straight up calls you a murderer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like, he's a silent protagonist. And the first line of dialogue they give him outside of one of the secret endings of Chrono Trigger is murderer. At the player. Crazy.
Well, he's not silent. He's not the protagonist of this game, so he doesn't have to be silent.
So they don't explain how Surge is the Chrono Trigger, really, I guess, is the point.
Yeah.
No, they just kind of say he is.
Yeah. In this context, he is the Chrono Trigger.
In every context, he's the Chrono Trigger.
I mean, in the context of this game, he is not the Chrono Trigger of Chrono Trigger.
That's true.
What's the Chrono Trigger of Chrono Trigger?
The Chrono Trigger of Chrono Trigger is the time egg that you have to get in order to bring Chrono back from the dead after he gets killed by Lavos after the confrontation in Zeal.
Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about your beloved characters watching as the whole place starts to collapse, their realities being destroyed in front of them, the ghosts of your favorite characters? How do you feel about that, Jim?
Honestly, I like that these characters get wiped from reality. They never belonged there in the first place.
They're definitely showing back up 100%.
Although, so this is where things stop making sense for me. Why does this reality thing get destroyed? Why does it? Why does this happen?
I think after you defeat Miguel, he says that the dimensional rift will be open again.
But what does that have to do with this place?
Well, I don't know.
Because I remember defeating Miguel and then listening to him talk, and then the screen started to rumble, and the next thing I knew there was like a cinematic cutscene of this whole place like getting sucked into a vortex and like a big white light just wiping everything out.
Yeah, you get the classic anime giant ball of light with smoke swirling around it.
Yep.
Cutscene as the whole fucking area is just destroyed.
Yeah, and then everything's
Chrono
gone.
Trigger.
Yeah, I just didn't understand what was happening because they made it.
I still
sound
don't understand what's happening. You guys said a lot of words, but boy, they didn't really add up to me to make any sort of sense.
And then I don't remember how you get from this to the dragon gods, which
so you're running away. Isn't this where you're running away and a dragon swoops down and saves you?
Oh, yeah, the dragon saves you here, drops you on the beach, and was like, if you're trying to bring forth the other entity, I'll eat you up. And then it flies away.
No, he doesn't. He gives you a bunch of hints on what you got to do next.
No, he doesn't, does he?
It's the black dragon, right, John?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, the black dragon.
I thought he threatens to eat you.
Oh, you know what? Because we had a different interpretation because the black dragon's involved in the Marbule quest.
Oh, see, I haven't done that yet.
Oh, I don't know if you can.
You can't have done it yet.
No, it's got to be after this, right? Because the SS Invincible or whatever, that ship needs to be a Marbule.
Yeah, sorry,
you
that
have
is
to
after
be able
that.
to travel between worlds to start that quest, and you can't do it until after this.
Right.
Right.
I don't remember this dragon at all.
All right, so good news. The dimensional rift is restored. Now we can go back to the other world. You get back to Serge's home village. Is this Serge's home? Serge's...
It's like the village, but not the one Serge grew up in because it's the alternate world.
Right. And it is full of Serge's army. So everyone's hiding in Radius's cabin. And
no one's there. They're all just hiding, and they're like, you can't come back here. We're hiding from Serge's army.
Mm-hmm. You do see that kid. Was it kid's little brother? I think. No, sir.
Sister?
Lena's little brother being attacked by some kitty cats.
Do you? I didn't see that.
I did. There's like 3 kitty cats, and you have to fight them, and you save.
Yes.
You save.
Oh, down on the beach.
Yeah. Those
Once
weird
you teleport,
lynx cats.
once you head back to Opasa Beach, and then you teleport to Homeworld, and that's when you run across the Lynx cats.
Yeah, and I like the lynx cats like look at you and like little question marks appear above their head.
Yeah.
They're like, huh?
I didn't get that scene, Matt. The one you're posting in the chat. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Unless maybe I just ignored it or forgot about
Maybe
it.
it happened at a different time. Is there another time that you got saved
I was
by a
like
dragon?
marathoning this, so it might have happened. I just like glazed over it.
No, it must have been here.
Okay.
I think. Nobody wants to back me up?
I don't remember this.
I
at
totally
all.
remember it. Yeah, because this is where I thought the dragon threatened you. Because like he picks you up from the Dead Sea or whatever, brings you here.
Right.
He
that
drops
does
you off,
happen.
and then I thought he
Yeah.
threatened you and then flew away.
I forgot that the dragon comes to rescue you.
Yeah.
Wait.
That doesn't ring any bells.
No, wait. The dragon came to rescue me. There was a dragon rescue, but it was Fargo's dragon. I remember that.
Yeah,
I
that
remember
happens
this
too.
part.
That's Polly.
Yeah.
I mean, I posted a picture of it in the group chat. You can see that it fucking happened.
I'm
not
looking
making it
at
up.
Definitely in the game.
I just don't remember
I don't remember.
This is-
And we know that this game has like alternate storylines, so I don't know why you're so shocked that maybe it didn't happen to John and
But
I.
how else would you get off the?
John and I are following the same guide.
I don't remember how I got off.
I think Vanessa and I might have both been too sleepy when we played this part. So you head to Termina after the going to Arnie, and the Pori military has taken over Termina too.
They were already
Vanessa,
in Termina, but they evacuated almost everybody because they were afraid of sorry, in my game it's not Surge. I name my character Chungus. So
Right.
so everyone's like, that Chungus is on a real violent streak.
So Vanessa, tell me about your Norris the dishwasher gossip here, because I remember this character, but I never put these two together.
Yeah, so you're wandering around town and you're like, the Pori military's like, yeah, we took over. And you know how? Norris disguised himself as a dishwasher and spied on Viper Manor. And if you remember, way back in the game, there was that dishwasher who was acting fishy in Viper Manor.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh
that's
yeah,
right.
that's funny.
And then we found him like snooping around the
Oh,
lab.
that's right.
and
Like
that was
like he
Norris
got
the whole
stuck in one
time.
of those traps, and he's like,
Yeah,
I
and he's
definitely
like-
wasn't snooping around.
Yeah, I'm not a snoop spy. I'm not. It turns out it's Norris, and he is a soup spy, and he was doing it the whole time.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm. So everyone recognizes Lynx, and they're like, "Oh, sweet, it's Sir Lynx! Yeah, you're back! Hooray! We missed you." And some people are like, "We thought you were dead." And then I also had Norris with me, like from the other world. So people were like, "Oh, cool, it's Sir Lynx and Norris. This is great."
Did you have Norris meet Norris when Norris comes to the gate? Because I did. That was awesome.
Yeah, I did. And Norris was like, "What the hell? I don't like this. Goodbye." So we are sort of hinted at to go into this bar, and we do. And we talk to this woman who's like in the back in the pantry. And she's like, "Oh, Sir Lynx, okay,
So,
here it goes."
Did any of you guys have Guile in your party prior to becoming Lynx? Did you guys recruit Guile?
No.
No.
So yeah, so he's hanging out here in this little pantry, and if you talk to him, he's like, "Oh, it's you. You're alive. I can't join the party yet." Basically, is what he says. He's like I can't. He's like, "I hope you understand. I can't help you right now, but maybe later." And
That is a ridiculous thing
I
to say.
know.
So you go into this back room, and Karsh and Zoa are there. Karsh and Zoa are two of the divas.
So,
Yeah, Zoa is John's crush, who speaks in all caps.
Super cool.
Yeah, he
Super
does.
cool character design, actually.
Mm-hmm. He's just a suit of armor. And
He only has
With a
like
metal speedo.
he has this his only armor is his helmet, right? That he wears all the time.
And his metal speedo.
Oh, it's a metal
His
speedo.
metal speedo. Yep.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, hey, it's you guys. Listen, Viper Manor's been taken over. Riddle's been captured. The general got real injured when he went with you to that tower, and he's at the Hermit's Hideaway, and Marcy is taking care of him. And so you have to take one of us in your party to Viper Manor to save Riddle."
Oh
John?
boy. So I chose Zoa.
Me
Of
too.
course I
Of
did.
course
Me
you
too.
did.
Yeah, I did too. He's got, you can find, there's a level 7 tech for him real close by to this that you
Oh,
can go
is there?
grab,
Is there
so,
really? What is it?
He just like, what
Because
is the
he
last
has like
one?
he has like big like wrestling move kind of things is what he does, right?
I think it's the one where he spins up into the air like a tornado and like smashes down on him. Or maybe
I
it's
think
not.
that's
Maybe he
his
hits him
level
up in the
6.
air and then smashes him back down. It's
Oh, nice.
Okay.
spike and punt or something like that.
Oh,
Right.
cool.
Yeah, that's just it. You know the chest next to where he was sleeping? It's in there.
Oh, it's in his chest. Oh, that's super
Yeah.
cool, actually.
I chose Karsh because I knew that at least John would choose Zoa. But I don't think it made that much of a difference to the game
Yeah.
at this point.
No.
I actually really like how interchangeable most of these characters are. Like the fact that you can like move them in and out of the party and it doesn't have a real substantial effect on like how easy or hard the game is or the narrative really.
When does Harl leave?
Oh, much later.
Is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, so you add the one to your party, and then they go save Riddle, and they give you the shards of the destroyed dragon tear that was shattered when you became Lynx. These are called the Tears of Hate.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, tears of hate. Okay. Cool.
You head over to Viper Manor, and you get to as you get to Viper Manor, you get a cutscene of this alternate world Norris, and he is talking to Riddle. He's interrogating her. She does not. She's like, "I won't tell you anything. I wouldn't tell you even if I knew." And he does not want to torture or hurt her, but he's overruled by the Pore commander.
Yeah, everyone's like, torture.
Yeah.
And then they're like, Norris, we're going to torture her. You go to your room and think about how you didn't want to torture her.
So
Shut up, nerd.
basically, they're a bunch of Republicans, is what you're saying?
Norris is the only one wearing his mask, and they shame him out of the room.
The commander
They're
guy's
all-
Dick Cheney homage.
That's what I was thinking.
They're all real into that show 24. And they're like, yeah, no, that's the only way to
Realistic
fight
show
terrorism.
on television. Yeah. Show's for patriots.
So you get to you find Norris, and Norris will give you the sewer key so that you can break into the prison.
Mm-hmm.
And you do. Oh yeah, if you go back. So he does get freaked out. I freaked him out earlier with Homeworld Norris, but if you do bring back Homeworld Norris later, he does give you his level 7 technique there. Or,
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And I had Norris with me here in the manor, and he was like, Norris, come back later. And Norris, that's me, will give you, Norris, a thing.
That's funny.
So you do. There's a whole. I hate this word. I can't pronounce it.
Sluice gates.
Sluice gates that you have to mess with, and the fact that I'm following makes you do this whole puzzle twice because you can do it once in Homeworld and once in the another.
Oh
world.
yeah, well
Why?
so at the beginning when you have to break into the manor, this is the route I took.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had to do. You've done this.
I've already done
3
this
times.
puzzle, yeah.
So you. The reason to do it again in the other world is you get another revive. That's the.
Oh, gotcha.
the reward, and that probably did add another hour to my
Yeah.
gameplay total. So you play with these dumb gates. There's lots of fights that you can get into. Then right when you've solved the third sleuth gate,
Sluice. It rhymes with juice. It's real easy. Sluice.
once you solve the last sluice gate, you do get attacked by Big Rochester boss, which is this big gross bug. That's pretty
His
funny.
name is Rochester, like Rochester, but Roach.
It's great. And it does shoot little bugs at you as one of its attacks.
I hate it. It has
Oh,
like its
this
eggs
one's
on its
gross.
back.
Yeah.
It was gross.
But he like shoots them out like I think one of his attacks is like kamikaze bug,
Mhm.
where all of his offspring shoot at you and then explode.
Mhm.
Gross.
Trying to think, there was one fight I got into. Oh no, it's coming up. So you get you can take one of 3 exits. There's each one goes into a different cell. You have to go into the one with Fargo, and then you do rescue Fargo, and he does join you, and you give him the prison key, which I don't remember getting back, but you have in your inventory later. So he
Yeah,
must
it's
have
in your
given it back.
inventory.
Yeah.
I love Fargo, by the way. I dropped him into my party. He is blue, which I like. He has a steal, a pillage maneuver, which I like and is heavily recommended to be used by the guide. And he's got some great moves. One of them is called Cannonballs, where he points at the enemy and a bunch of cannonballs get
I do like that he
shot out of the ship.
cowers. He cowers as the cannonballs fall down too. It's pretty funny
He's
animation.
pretty good. And he can use those big, blue spells that I've been holding this whole
Yeah,
time.
I still haven't used Frog Prince
Yeah,
yet.
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Oh.
I still have not been able to use Frog Prince. It's hard to
Gotta
get
use
that
frog
field.
prints.
So,
So now we have to. Well, we get another little smash cutscene, and it shows Orcha in the kitchen, and the guard comes, and I had spoken to some of the guards in the lunchroom, and they're like, "Poor Orcha, he doesn't know he's being used."
Orcha he has the like smoothest animations though when you come upon him in the kitchen, where his body's like just swaying back and forth and he's chopping. He gets like the neatest animations.
Orcha is lovingly rendered. Another Johnny boyfriend, I'm assuming.
oh, he is like the ultimate.
Yeah, I figured he was the one.
Yeah.
I knew that Orcha was going to be the one.
Yeah, because he's like real strong. He can cook. He's got a cute beard, and he loves to cuddle.
And he has a pretty like
He does
his
love to cuddle.
his speech thing
That's
is one of the least annoying in the game. Where
The
where,
cha
like,
cha
at the
cha
end,
thing?
he's like cha.
I hate the chop thing. It's the worst one.
Orcha. So a guard comes in, he's like, "Orcha, it's that time again." And Orcha's like, "What time?" And he's like, "You know." And takes Orcha off, and then you sort of burst into Riddle's cell, and they're like, "Oh yeah? Well, check out what we got." And Orcha comes in.
They
He's
ring a little
like-
bell.
They ring a little bell, and he turns like jet black and just goes straight up crazy and turns into a boss called Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
I guess he's called
Cook.
Hell's Cook.
Hell's Cook.
But basically, he just turns into Gordon Ramsay.
Right.
I love Gordon Ramsay.
It's pretty great. His level 7 tech is
Gordon Ramsay's.
yeah, Gordon Ramsay's Orch's is him turning into Hell's Cook, and like up to this point all of his techs have been like funny cooking ones. His last one is he turns into Evil Guy, and this giant grinder comes down from the ceiling and lands on the enemy, and the screen goes black for a second. It's
Oh no.
Orcha.
Awesome.
It's pretty great.
So you do have to fight Hell's Cook. That's a pretty easy fight, but it's
Yeah.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then Orcha joins you after you defeat him because he feels very embarrassed about having attacked you and wants to make it up to you with cuddles.
And food.
And food. So Norris grabs Riddle, and you do have to fend off the Pori military while they escape. And you do get a couple of enemy waves. And then you do get a cutscene before this of Grobik, who is like you get a little cutscene introducing him before he fights you. Grobik is a Dragon Ball enemy, right? Like, isn't he like a Dragon Ball character or something? I don't know Dragon Ball,
No.
but he.
It says here in the notes that he's some Wolverine Origins Deadpool bullshit guy.
Yeah.
So I think that's the official description.
That's what it felt like to me.
Right. He is some Wolverine origin Deadpool bullshit guy. He does have like a weird moon on his forehead, and he does talk like a robot a little bit.
He does look a little Dragon Ball-y. He attacks with his hair, and his hair seems to be all one piece, like it's a spear or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it whips
And,
around.
He does say that he'll follow whoever's strongest, and when you defeat him, he's like, "Oh, you're so strong."
Mm-hmm.
And then after, almost immediately after Grobik, comes Gyo, which is a very easy to defeat but invulnerable fighting machine. And it does chase you, and you have to keep defeating it over and over again through the library tower.
But
and
3
then,
times.
Oh, really? I
this
feel like
is-
I only fought it twice.
Yeah, like you beat it, and then it comes back to life, and you're like, oh no, run away. And then you beat it again, comes back to life, chases you some more.
Is it the Sage of Time?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The guy in the library tower is like, "Nope, go upstairs, grab the ladder."
This is
There's a
also a
button.
big Chrono Trigger homage part because you get chased across a bridge by a tank.
That's
Mhm.
true.
Yeah.
And then you climb up this ladder, and they're like, I can't get up here. And then it like grabs the chandelier and is like hanging there.
Yeah. And then this is when Grobik
Uh,
comes in.
Yeah, Grobik just like comes in, and he's like, you go out the window. And I guess he cuts the chain of the chandelier or something.
I was thinking, like, you could have cut it below your feet. That way you wouldn't have to fall with it. You didn't have to, like, include yourself in the fall.
That's such an awkward angle, Jim.
Yeah.
And then if he
But he's a
didn't fall down
robot.
with it, he'd just be stuck up there.
He's a robot.
Yeah, why didn't he just hang
We
on
don't
to the
know
rope?
He's a robot.
Hey, could have just hung on to it.
I mean, he pretty clearly has a
then he'd
rope.
be
He
stuck.
has
He
at
has,
least
he
one.
has 2 hands.
He has one robot arm and one not robot arm. So he's a
Okay,
cyborg.
but imagine you're holding onto a rope with your 2 hands, and then you're saying like cut below your feet because he like
No, I was under the
assumingly
impression
has
he
his-
was standing on, like, the top fixture part of it. And so, like, I thought he would just, like, kick the chandelier housing part off, or, like, just kick it off with his feet. But instead, he just fell off of it. Like, he cut it
He
above
didn't
his
think,
head.
Okay. He was just making some assumptions, and he chose wrong.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It did not
If
get
you're
cut where I thought it
standing
would
on
get
something. You can't cut below your feet if you're standing.
cut. But
on
he's
it.
a robot. How do, like, he could have go gadget feet
He's a
knife.
robot.
And
He
then,
still doesn't want to cut. He doesn't have feet knives.
yeah, he could.
Just every
So-
cyborg is not Inspector Gadget, Jim. They don't all have fucking knives and rocket packs and wheels that pop out of every inch of their body. This guy's got a robot arm and maybe some sort of robot hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's like Bucky Barnes essentially, and Jim's like, why doesn't he use his robot feet?
So his character model on the world, like when he's out in the world map, it looks like he has a giant bulge, but it's just like he's got this like metal plate along his torso that sticks out a bit. But when his character's on the map, it's like, does he just have a really big dick? What's going on there?
Wow.
So you do jump out the window through the stables, and then you talk to the stable hand. He's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? There's an army after you." And one of your choices is remind me
Yeah.
of the way Matt laughs when he's being evil.
Mhm.
I'm never evil.
And I, of course, chose.
I'm a good man.
Yeah, the 2 options are like take them all on or
Yeah.
And this does cause a dragon stampede, which does take out most of the Poire military that was in the manor.
Mhm.
Yeah, because the stable hand's like, oh, that thing. And yeah, they just release all the dragons.
And Grobik decides to join you because you're stronger than him.
Yeah, he only his speech thing is that everything's hyphenated, which I wasn't really sure how to like I don't know how that sounds.
Well, Jim, I think it sounds sort of like this, but
Okay.
That's just in my head.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't know that any of the like written translations are meant to be like verbally expressed, right? Like
Some of them do sound
Irene
funny.
has an umlaut over every
Yeah.
vowel. How are you supposed to pronounce that? I don't know that it's possible.
Pronounce it like Bjork.
I think it's meant to be like a visual signifier of their weird speech, not a direct translation of how they're speaking.
Yeah.
I just imagine Bjork. It's fine. So
You just imagine Bjork for everything.
so the next place that you got to go to is Hermit's Hideaway, because that's where Riddle is going with the General and Norris and everyone. So you head over there, and Fargo agrees to take everyone on the ship. That isn't that? Oh yeah,
Well-
that's right. Yeah,
You get
Fargo does
Fargo
come.
was in,
saved by
Fargo was in
Fargo,
jail.
right?
Fargo was in
yes,
the jail.
Fargo was in jail.
Yeah, and you let him out.
So you head to Hermit's Hideaway, and
Isn't
I
that?
just
Hang
don't-
on. Isn't this when? This is crazy that I'm doing this again. But is this not when the giant dragon parrot shows up and saves you?
yeah, that's
oh my
at the
God,
end of this.
a dragon. Oh,
It's at the end of
again.
this. So General Viper, Riddle, and Marcy, and whichever of the Karsh / Zoa you did not choose join you, which is great. You just get this
Yeah.
influx. I still haven't used Viper or Marcy.
I think it's fucking cool that Viper. I was under the impression that Viper was like one of the lesser big bads in the game, but he's a party member now. That's super cool.
I also like Viper, and you can get like a cool triple sword for him. Apparently, he's really good, from what I've been like reading about, but like I haven't used him either.
I like when what's the little girl's name?
Marcy.
Marcy.
I like when Marcy enters the party. It says Marcy like entered the party, which is like her speech thing. She says like all the time.
She's a Valley Girl.
It was funny.
But she's the best. And when you like talk to her, she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I tried to kill you all the time. And always said that I hate you.
Oh, Marcy, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait, what? Everyone go. Okay, Vanessa, why don't you? I'm lost
I
here.
forget.
Oh.
I forget what happened.
So-
Why do I have to remember everything?
Okay, so everyone goes to the Death's door in this world, but it's called like the Gates of Eden or something, isn't it? Or Heaven's Gate or something?
Oh, I thought we were still talking about the island. Like they're on the island, right? And then
Is it?
they're like, we got to get off this island because Surge is coming.
Oh,
what's
that's
happening?
right.
Yeah,
and
Surge
that's
does
where
show up.
Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where so Surge is showing up, and you escape just in the nick of time by jumping on to Fargo's parrot.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then Fargo's like, everyone can stay on the ship, including General Viper, who I hate, but I'm going to duel you eventually. And he's like, that's fair.
Yep. So you go to this Gates of Eden, but it is locked. And then Harl says, "Oh yeah, to get through this, you will need the blessings of the sixth dragon." And but I have a question for you before we go. If you were to choose, would you choose the world or would you choose moi?
What'd you guys say?
I
World.
said
World.
I hate Harl.
yeah. Sorry, Harl.
I said world too.
And she gets very upset.
What
and then there-
character comforts her on the boat? I want to know what you
Uh,
guys
if you have
Starkey.
Starkey,
got.
it's Starkey.
So it's always Starkey if you have Starkey?
Yeah, it's always Starkey.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I was curious about that.
yeah, Starkey tries to talk her through it. She is crying and she doesn't want to admit that she's crying. And Starkey's like, "Why water leak from face?" And she's
Why? What if you don't have Starkey though? That's really interesting.
I think no one comforts her.
yeah, I
from
think
what
that
understand.
cutscene doesn't happen if you don't have
Oh
Starkey
wow,
in your party.
that's really interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Starkey want no human motions.
Starkey don't know why you cry.
I would like it if there was like a ton of this, like optional characters that changed the game drastically just by being there and had like long conversations. That would be cool.
That is
yeah,
cool.
it's kind of like a Final Fantasy VI thing, right? Like where if you had characters in your party, optional ones, there would be extra scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Harl is sulking and sad, but she just I think I had some elements equipped to her. I don't know if they became unequipped because she does leave your party.
I don't know.
I always unequip everybody's elements when I take them out of my rotation anyway.
Yeah. It's the fastest way to do it. I do the same thing. Just only people that have any items or have any equipment or elements on them are the ones I'm using.
Yeah.
I think
But she also says, like, something sort of ominous, like, I was really hoping I wouldn't have to fight you.
She doesn't
So
want you to fight your fate. She wants you to let the world burn.
is that
Why so serious?
Just want to watch the world burn.
We live in a society.
At this point, you can go down to the cargo area, and there is a Pip there who will totally rejoin you. Ooh.
Oh,
All right,
is that
Linksy.
ooh? Is that ooh, Soji?
Do you think that they thought that Pip was going to be like a huge thing?
Like an icon, like an iconic
Like
character.
Square must have
Everybody
thought this
loves
was going to be like a
Pip.
big smash, right? They put a lot of money into this game.
Mm-hmm.
Pip is the bestest character.
Pip is the Moogle of Chrono.
Put a fucking Pokemon in it, and all the kids will love it.
Pip and Pikachu.
So do you think Poshul is like hanging out with evil Serge and turning evil?
Yes,
That's what I
evil
thought was
Perchul.
that's what I thought was happening. Cause like now Surge has like purple hair, right? And wears like a hat. Maybe there's like a Pashul that's wearing eyeliner.
Wears a different
Yeah,
hat.
well, Kid is with
Stocking
Evil
cap.
Surge, but a lot of the other party members aren't. And they also claim, like, not to remember Surge.
Yeah, that's real weird.
That is
They're
weird.
like, I don't know anyone named Surge.
So,
What?
Vanessa, it says here to ask you about Dario.
Ask me about Dario.
Now, when do you get that there's that cutscene where Karsh remembers Dario? Is this what you're talking about?
No.
Oh, well,
It's a whole thing.
well, when you recruit Karsh, he has a memory about. Is it because Riddle sees Karsh and she's like,
Oh,
real mad
the
at him?
memory of... I know what you're talking about.
so basically Karsh. There's a flashback to Karsh and Dario as kids,
That's...
and or not kid. Well, it's like him and Dario growing up, training, and they're like always rivals. And then, this is his like side quest thing. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't
So-
do this.
So basically, if you go back to Viper Manor, you'll find a chest, and the chest, the puzzle for the chest does say "respect your behind,"
Yeah.
which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
And
Respect my behind.
when you open this puzzle chest, you get a note that says, "Meet me on the Isle of the Damned."
Oh,
Bring
yeah.
Karsh.
You go and have to fight our old friends,
Yes.
Salt and Pepper, on the Isle
Yeah.
of the Damned. And they accuse... They accuse Karsh of murdering Dario, and Karsh has a
Yes.
flashback to when they were kids.
Oh, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so Karsh remembers when he was a kid with Dario, and they were friends, but then when the second that they were hanging out and Karsh saw the Masamune, I think he didn't even touch it. He just saw the Masamune. He does stab Dario in the back.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know it was the sword, but also like the sword, I think, took my jealousy and my resentment about how talented Dario was. And also like in the flashbacks, there's like a little kid version of Glenn there, and they're all hanging out and friends.
And it's pretty clear that Karsh is in love with Riddle. That
Right.
she
Yes.
becomes betrothed to Dario.
Yep. So you do get that was a nice little cutscene, and then you do fight Salt and Pepper. They're a little harder than they were previously.
They have
but not that
crosscut
hard.
now, and it actually does some damage.
Yeah, that can do like 500 damage.
Did you hear that, Jim? Salt and
Uh,
Pepper have crosscut.
Yep.
Do they call it crosscut?
Yup.
Yep.
It's supposed to be. I thought it was called X Strike.
Maybe it's
Well,
called
X Strike
I don't know.
is a different one than crosscut. X Strike you get with Glenn.
Oh.
So they gave one of the best moves in the game to the joke characters as a slap in the face to the fans of Chrono Trigger. Anyway, hey, you know what? Since we're talking about side quests, John, you and
Well,
I...
hold on, Vanessa.
Ask me
Vanessa,
about Dario.
yeah,
apologize.
tell us about Dario, Vanessa.
So after you do this whole thing, you can go to the secret little island on Homeworld. It's sort of like northeast of the main continent. It doesn't have a name, but you can see little puffs of smoke coming out of it. Oh, it's the same like Forbidden Island where you found the note that said like come to wherever. No, wait, it's not. I'm sorry, that was very confusing.
Is the Isle of the
So-
Damned location?
It's not the Isle of the Damned. It's something else entirely. It's a teeny tiny island
Okay.
and only has one house on it.
Huh.
So if you go to Homeworld and you put Riddle in your party, you can go into this house, and who should be there but Dario?
What?
Dario!
He's
But of course,
dead.
he has amnesia. He's not dead in Homeworld.
Oh.
He's dead in alternate world. So Riddle is like, oh my god, it's Dario. And he's like, wait, you know who I am? What? Do you? And he doesn't remember a thing, but if you've done this Salt and Pepper quest, you get this amulet. And Riddle's like, yeah, this was Dario's mother's. And you can show it to Dario. And then Crash is like, wait, hold up, you don't want to do this. Let me tell you what actually happened. And what actually happened on the Isle of the Damned is that Dario is the one who picked up the mass immune. And he was going to kill Crash, but then like part of him was trying to resist, and he's like, Crash, I can't stop myself, you have to kill me. And Crash was like, no, 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 no. And he's like, do it. So Crash did. And then Dario's like, get away from me, get away, it's all coming back. Oh no, my terrible memories. And then what should appear but the mass immune? And then that old guy's like, oh, I thought I destroyed it with the sword, but in fact it just returned to its true owner, Dario. And then Dario grabs the sword and becomes like Dark Dario. And I'd say he's like one of the hardest optional boss fights in the game.
What the fuck? This sounds amazing.
Yeah, that does sound super
because
cool.
he's got the mass immune, and he's like, it's me, Dark Dario!
Dark
Time to
Dario!
die! And after you fight him and defeat him, you get text of two little voices, and one of them's like, Massa, can you hear me?
What?
Is that you, Mune? Oh, it's been so long. Massa, Mune! And the curse of the sword is broken, and there's also one other person who is a disembodied voice, and I cannot remember who it is. Some lady. And she's like, the three of us will now form together the ultimate form of Surge's weapon, the Spitter Swallow.
What?
It's like called the Massamuna Runa Swallow. And yeah, you get a super powerful weapon for Surge that does like 200 damage on its third attack.
I want to go get that right now.
Me too.
And that's all I know about Dario. Oh, Dario then goes back to Viper Manor.
Huh.
He's like, what the heck happened here? And people are like, yeah, it's messed up. And he's like, oh, I'm going to join you. And then he sort of like starts to collapse. And he's like, uh-oh, I'm still hurt. And Riddle's like, it's okay. Like, you hang out here. And I love you, even though we don't really know each other in this world. But we're joined by the heart. And then Crash is like, I'm so sorry. I did kill you. And Dario's like, it's no problem. You did the right thing. The end.
It's fine. Everything's
That's-
fine.
Lovely.
You were like nothing. The cop said you were like nothing. That actually answered my question, which is that Karsh does tell Salt and Pepper, like, I'll tell you the truth someday. And I was like, that you killed him? You're not going to tell him now? While they're asking you, you're going to, like, convince him to keep working for you and tell him that you'll just tell him eventually? That seems pretty dick.
Yeah, it turns out Crash was trying to protect Dario's reputation. the whole time. And I really like Crash because even though he's in love with Riddle, he doesn't try to break them up. He's not rude to Riddle. Like, he's really nice to them. When they say they're getting married, he's like, congratulations, oh my god, yay! And then he, like, turns and holds the flower she gave him, and he's like, But he's, like, a cool dude. Like, he's not making his feelings her problem.
Right. So, let's talk about Marbule. So, if you remember, Marbule was full of ghosts, and this is a problem. And all the demi-humans had to evacuate, and that's why they were working on the cruise ship, the Zelbes. So if you take Fargo to the Zelbes, Fargo and Fargo will have a little fight. They'll argue with each other because Fargo's like, hey, you're just being lazy. You need to get into shape. You need to get over yourself. You know, I could be here crying about my dead wife, but I didn't. I decided to pick myself up and keep going, and you need to do that. And other Fargo's like, you're right. And he's like, but this ship won't even go anywhere. He's like, no, we need to take the ship to Marbule and save the village. And he's like, well, we can't. He's like, oh, yeah? Well, let me issue this command. Hey, demi-humans, I'm going to take the ship to free Marbule. And then the demi-humans on the ship are like, yes, sir. And they start moving the big oars. And they do move the ship to Marbule because they are very motivated by saving their village. So they decide to, then, if you remember, Nikki and Mickey had decided to they learned the song from the Sage and decided to put on a concert, which Matt and I got to enjoy. This concert is wonderful.
It's fucking bonkers. It's terrible. For sure. It does seem to be trying to do like an opera scene thing, and it's crazy that it's optional because there's so much cutscene and there's like a whole fucking song. Mm-hmm. It's a terrible song.
About Nikki plays a mariner, and he's a very manly man, he says, and he encounters these fairy girls that are flying around him and are like, you should sing a song. And he's like, what? But I'm a manly mariner. I can't sing a song. And they're like, no, you must try to sing our song. And then Nikki appears like on a seashell, and she's like, oh, mariner, you're so manly and strong, but you can sing our song. And he's like, I cannot. And she's like, well, try it. Here's our song. La, 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 la. And he tries to play. He takes out his guitar. He's like, do, 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 do. And she's like, you got to put your heart into it. And then he tries again. Oh, yeah. First of all, when the fairies get to the ship, he's like crucified on the ship. I guess,
that's weird. He's like hanging from it. Yeah.
Yeah. They do take him off of it. And so he does try again with his guitar, and he's like a little bit better. And they're like, no, you need to put your whole passion and soul into it. And then he takes his guitar out again and goes,
this fucking Marilyn Manson knockoff looking motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Oh, just fucking, this is the most 90s thing that's ever happened. Like, it's this terrible power ballad. It's awful.
And so then this music starts playing, and your party gets off of the boat and into the village where all the ghosts have turned back into real monsters. Now, the thing is, the guide I was following was telling me to do all this stuff. And then it gets to the village, and then the guide's like, okay, make sure you have a red party member in here, and it'll make all the fights very easy. It didn't tell me that at any point where you could choose party members. It tells you that after.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's really frustrating. Yeah.
And you're
they
stuck
tell you
with
at
two.
The boss who would be great to use against this boss, and it's like I need to
and
know
you have
that.
to choose Fargo, who is blue, and I chose Irene's because I thought it would be she's part of this village. I thought she'd be good for the plot. Both of them are blue and very weak against all these. You have to defeat nine enemy encounters that aren't very hard, but they just take a long time. They didn't do any damage because they're both blue, but I also took 5 minutes per each of these encounters that you have
That's
to do 9
frustrating.
times. So that is literally 45 minutes I had to do.
I had an easy time running through this because at this point I had stolen Black Hole from whichever monster I stole it from. And that thing was devastating. It was so good, so satisfying. But yeah, it's not fun.
That power ballad is playing the whole time.
The power ballad plays the whole time. Sometimes I would almost think that I liked it, and then I would be like, no, I hate this.
So you get through all these, like, you have to track down every enemy on the map and then kill it. The last 2 are in a cave. And at the end, after defeating all of them, the black dragon starts stirring. And
Whoa. The sleeping black dragon?
and you have to meet the black dragon. Well, you hear the dragon roar somewhere else. And the game's like, you hear in the distance the roar of the black dragon. And then you got to go to the other world. And if you go to the cave where the black dragon is, he's like, oh, so I want to test your strength. This will be a good way to wake up after so long. And you fight the black dragon. And that is one of the 2 dragons we're going to fight. Although Vanessa did fight a different dragon.
Yeah, because I didn't do all of this, so I just went to the black dragon. It was still asleep, and I just took its blessing.
Jeez. That doesn't sound
right. It's like
right.
you walk up to the sleeping dragon, it's like, you got it.
Oh.
I had a tough time with this dragon. First of all, let me step in and say, love the design. We've run into him in the past in the game, and this isn't even the first time we've seen this one, but love the design. This one's a big black dragon. All of his attacks are like almost Bahamut-esque attacks, where he does like, well, some of them are. Like one of them he flies up in the air and shoots a big beam down, and it's cool. One of them he just kind of walks up and like nudges you, but he does it really hard. This was the first time I followed the guides that I've been using suggestion to use this diminish spell on one of these things, which like heavily reduces like elemental damage because he has powerful spells that will hit you very hard.
But it does it to your damage and
but it
healing
does
as
it
well.
to your damage and healing as well. And it is the worst.
Yeah, it's not good.
This fight took me a fucking hour. I had to take breaks. Like it just went on and on. He had over 3,000 fucking hit points, and I was doing 50 goddamn hit points per turn. I was down to my last heal spell. It was getting a little roof in the hoof. But
I think I was doing like, everyone was doing around 200 for me.
yeah, that diminished spell really fucked me up.
Do you guys have the 99 elements?
I do.
Those,
yeah.
I think you must get those from like a character that joins your party, because I don't remember seeing them until like after I got like Orcha and everybody else.
What's a 99 element?
Like if you cast it on your character, they're like, I'm not sure how long it lasts, but all like the odds of them landing a successful hit for all their attacks is at 99.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that only red characters can use it, which is why
Yes.
Orcha would be able to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's it. Then the other, both of us, Vanessa and I don't know about Jim, we did the Earth Dragon, which is pretty fun. There's like a desert you got to go to, and then you get like sucked into a sinkhole that does pull you in. There's a weird, I can't remember what the term was for the sinkholes and the the boil holes. So I was like, ugh, that sounds gross.
The sand boils.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, like the sand gets sucked in and then can spit out. And there's these turtles that you can attack that you can push over boil holes, and you have to do that to get to the last boss. I like this area. Took me a while. I got all the treasure and all that.
Yeah, the Earth Dragon's fun. He has like a good toady or like sluggy look. I love the Earth Dragon. I want like a tiny version of it for my pocket.
And yeah, I like the way that these dragons look. This one's a real chonk.
Yeah, he's a big chonky boy with slug eyes and little tentacles. He's adorable.
The dragons look really cool.
Yeah. They do remind me a bit of the Breath of Fire dragons.
Yeah.
Like the frog ones and stuff. But yeah, this slug dragon was great. And so he's like, oh, so you're going to fight. And this, I think it's the first time, and I don't know, that the final boss of the game is mentioned. Maybe the Sky Dragon mentions it as well, but the Earth Dragon says, hey, you're going to fight like the goddess of time or goddess of fate. And you have to be ready for that. I'm like, oh, is this going to be like the big baddie? So that's my guess.
Did they say goddess of fate?
I think
I
so.
thought he
Was
said.
that-
I thought he said free humanity from the shackles of fate.
I think he says something about very specifically a goddess of fate, but I could be wrong.
Miguel mentions his gods and goddesses, but goddesses is in like quotation marks.
Oh, okay. Well, this is what I remember, but I also did a long marathon. So Matt and I fought the black dragon. That was our second dragon as part of the Marbule quest. But Vanessa did the water dragon. So why don't we talk about that?
I did too.
It's splishy, it's splashy, it's a frog.
I did
Yeah.
the water dragon too, and I liked Splishy Splashy Frog Dragon. These dragons are great.
They are. This one's really neat, and this is actually the second time you've seen this dragon up to this point, right?
Yeah, because you got the ice breath from
Yeah,
him.
you got the ice breath from him.
And he's like, "Oh, welcome back. Time for a splish splash." He was very easy for me because he kept just casting blue field over and over, and then I would cast like another spell of a different color before he could do whatever he wanted to do with blue field. And so then his next field move, he'd do blue field again.
Oh,
So he never actually got off a big attack.
Funny.
Yeah, I found both the Earth Dragon and the Water Dragon super duper easy, particularly after the Black Dragon, which took me so fucking long. And you can steal, with Fargo, you can steal these plates from each of the dragons.
Yeah, I stole the black plate from that one.
What do the plates do?
So the plates are an equipable armor that turns elemental damage of that color into health.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, I was gonna mention one of the cool things about Orch's cooking ones. Like, there's one where he throws the enemies into a pot and cooks them, and they pop out at the end. But it also gives him some food to eat, and he gets some HP back.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty great.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So I think we're done
I think
for now.
That's it for this chunker. I think Vanessa should tell us where we go next.
Next is very easy. We're just playing to the end of disc 1.
Ooh.
Is that true?
It could be. That's what I decided.
All right. So next time we'll be playing to the end of disc 1, I guess.
Got a whole other disc to do?
It's short.
Oh, okay. All right. There weren't any mini games really. I mean, you could go back and do. I haven't gone back. I did steal the Forget Me Now pot.
What does that do?
Oh yeah, so did I. I don't know. Like, it lets you collect enemies to use for Sprig's like doppelganger without
yeah,
Sprig
and they
being
also
in your
can be
party.
used
In
for the arena.
What's
And they
that
can also
arena
use for the
called?
arena, yeah. Monster
The,
Fight.
Grand Slam.
Grand Slam, yeah.
Monster.
Yeah,
So
Monster
then
Fight.
you can recruit that girl who's there, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just a way of doing it without Sprig in your party, that you can collect monsters if you have it equipped. So I've been using that. All right. So how about we talk about what we are squarely against, Vanessa?
I am squarely against exposition dumps. It takes too long to read, and I don't like to do it. Maybe chunk it up a little bit and give us just little bits of information instead of having some guy appear and be like, "It is I, the narrator."
Yeah, that's basically what he
Here
did.
come the story. Yeah, not into it. Jim, what are you squarely against?
I will say I think that I'm against the Chrono kids, the Chrono babies. I don't like them. I don't like they don't say any nice things about anything. They just yell at the character the whole time. And Chrono calls you a murderer, and then they just disappear and then get wiped from reality. Could have done without them Chrono babies.
Like a teenager, like 13 or 14, I had a dream, and one of the characters from ElfQuest was in there, and he was just like, "You always have to be the prettiest girl, and that's all you care," and was just being really neggy and mean. And I woke up and I was like, "Why?" And it's just all my 13-year-old insecurities coming out, and then scolding me for my vanity. And then it reminded me of that, with these your beloved childhood characters being like, "You suck."
Yeah, one of the things
Here's
that
why.
offended me is Luca yells at you and she's like, you you doomed humanity. You undid all the things we did. And, well, like me playing it, I was like, I would never do that. What do you mean?
Yeah. It's like, we did that together. We saved you, but don't you remember? We were together for hours.
I was
played
one of your
together.
adventurer friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I didn't like. What about John?
I am roundly for the bonkers rock opera. It was very silly. It did have a Super Nintendo style voice sample for when Mickey is singing, where she's like la 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 la
Yeah.
la la la.
Yep, reminded me so much of the fucking opera. Like,
It is insane.
it's
What about you, Matt? What are you
insane. And it's
squarely against?
optional. It's one of the weirdest things we've ever come across in one of these games, legitimately. With fucking Marilyn Manson singing a song in the middle of a fucking Final Fantasy game. I'm roundly for those good drag boys. I love the earth, dark and water dragons. I love the designs. Yeah, so just great looking, well animated, real fun. Great game. Loving it. 2 thumbs up.
Let's see. We
Who's
do have an
next?
email this week.
Uh-oh.
Ron asks, hey, I have a question about y'all playing Chrono Cross. Jim mentions the tech system. Do you think the cross techs and tech usage in general is the only mechanic retained from Chrono Trigger? Because the messing with techs and magic is my favorite part of the Chrono Trigger battle system. I like the attempt made here, but I feel like it's a poor attempt. Similar to Jim's tirade about the Chrono Trigger character stuff being poor echoes in Chrono Cross. Do you guys have a top 3 tech attack by any combination of characters? I guess he means in Chrono Trigger? When Matt says the imagery is more like Final Fantasy, I think it's more akin to Legend of Dragoon. I don't know which came first, but I feel the animation and CGI feel of one another is more Legend of Dragoon than it's more like Chrono Cross than Chrono Trigger can ever be. I haven't played Legend of Dragoon. I've never I own it, but I've never played it.
Yeah, same.
Me neither.
Sorry. Well, we'll add it to the list for sure. I know it's a classic that that's been talked about, but I never got a chance.
I don't remember that many attacks from Chrono Trigger. It's been a while.
Yeah, exactly.
X Strike was good.
I remember I liked there's always fun ones with Robo or Ayla.
Yeah, all the Robo ones are great.
Ayla had like an Eagle Strike one that was really good.
Yep. I remember that. There's the triangle one, the Delta attack.
Yeah,
or
the Delta
something that was
attack, yeah.
Yeah, anything that Eagle one that does the slash, right?
Yeah.
Like does that like vertical
It
line?
flies across the screen.
All that stuff is pretty rad. Do you have any? Because if we were talking about favorite like elemental techs from this game, definitely the cooking one is great. The doggy do one that that Poshul does is wonderful. I love Pip's field. Vanessa, do you have any favorite techs from this game?
Nope.
Rezzy has one that I mentioned before where she like falls out of the sky on a gold star and it's fun. And Fargo has some good ones that involve his ship. And
Oh yeah, Starkey has one where he summons like a robot from the sky to shoot lasers at the enemy.
Oh, that one's wonderful.
Yeah.
I do like Greco has a closelining one.
Yeah,
that's pretty
Greco's
fun too.
yeah, that one is good. I do like Guile's one where he shrinks his like staff down and then makes it reappear out of the body of the enemy. That one's super cool.
We also have a follow-up email from Adam. This one's really directed at Matt.
Yes.
Is Matt actually the actor TJ Miller?
I mean, anything's possible, listeners. Who knows what's real and what's not
I don't
real.
know if that would make the podcast more popular or less popular.
I feel like Matt has a lower register than TJ Miller. TJ Miller's like a little bit higher.
I don't really hear it either, but who knows, and I definitely could be TJ Miller. So, or I could be just some guy who has opinions about RPGs, but really just likes hanging out with his 3 friends. Anyway, moving on. What's next?
All right. Next is he also says because they sound just alike. Sorry, I didn't see this email was cut into. We have a Patreon, but why didn't Jim tell us about Patreon?
So, in our Patreon, if you are to contribute, I don't really know how to describe the Patreon. I always struggle with this.
We got 2 tiers. $3 tiers, the bonus episodes. We have lots of bonus episodes. This month we are doing a bonus episode on the Nintendo Classic Friday the 13th.
Oh, shit.
It's pretty spooky. So yeah, that's for $3. For $5, you get the chance to vote. And while we do know, and maybe we should talk about what the next game is.
Okay, hang on. Everybody in the country gets the chance to vote, okay? That's not up for question.
You get to vote on what we play a few times a year, and we do know what the next game is. Do we want to talk about it now or mention it next episode?
Might as well talk about it now. I don't know why we have to be such a game tease all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Let's just drop it on the floor. Here's the game.
Yeah,
It's Fable 2!
Fable 2!
Fable 2!
Wow, wow, wow. Now, you may recognize Fable 2 from our recently concluded poll as one of the options. It did not win. It did not come even close. This decision has nothing to do with that poll. This is simply Matthew pushing really fucking hard for it because I need a break from JRPGs.
Yeah.
And we want to play a shorty because I believe we've decided that we're going to do a vote for the last game of the year, right?
Yep.
And I think we should probably run that just straight up through our Fable 2 coverage to give everybody plenty of time to vote.
Okay.
And to give everybody plenty of warning that there's going to be a vote.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's us pump it up a lot during the episodes, too.
Yeah.
So there will be a vote for the last game of the year. So you can get in on that. But one of the other things we do for our patrons is no matter what you give, if it's $1 or $80, don't give us $80. That's too much money.
If you want to give someone $80, you can just Venmo it directly to me. It's fine. So.
Enough with the fucking Vanessa.
Stop
We've
trying
talked
to crush
about
my
this.
dreams.
We should say, just in the interest of transparency, we should say we do intend for the last game of the year to be all the games are going to be pretty short games, I think, on that list because we are not going to have 3 months to get through it like we are doing with Chrono Cross.
Yeah. So, Matt, why don't you start us off with our Patreons?
We would like to thank EP, Homeworld Lena cuzzled while another world Lena was a virgin. Question: what would Homegirl's version of Maidenheart look like?
We talked about this already.
I think Matt had a filthy answer, and mine was that they are going to be exactly the same.
I don't think I did have a filthy answer. Aaron J.L. O'Toole. Eyes of the Shifter. Cassandra. Girthbound. Mom made some hedgehog pie to eat. What? Joshua W. Broxson. TJ Miller's horny grandma impersonation. Jason Timms. It's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time. Dan. Jim Banks is actually Anthony Ranieri hiding from the pandemic in Texas. Soy Soda Pop. This game sucks. Play more Mario or Mother 3. Hales. Tracy. William Westgard. Ivana Tinkle. Wedgecoon. Ethan G. Pearson. Mostly Rational Person. Chief Hazard Built. Chrono Cross related. Christopher Highness. Saving Sid. Jordan McNeil. Still just Poshul's terrifying expression. Vanessa's gold Taco Bell PS5.
Hello.
Grayson. Lyriel of the Claire. Ari Capovara. Andrew Leinart. And Robert J. Defendi.
Mr. Mallard, you make Sulk sad. Sexy Grandma's boy toy is Jonathan Smith.
How dare you,
Gray
Mr.
Code,
Mallard.
Isaac Wright, Justin Rash, Matthew Newland, Andrew O, Alexander Jokic, Listen Up Scoot Stains, Chris Wilder, Joshua Bennett, Hexagon, Armin Hammer, Hudson Roth, Andy Smith, Pushushu, They Spontaneously Combutt With It Was Terrible, Amanda Douglas, Christian Go, Sergeant Spaghetti, Chris Ryan, Kevin Walter, Matthew Casterline, Adam Zimmerman, That One Guy, Stephen Paget, Paul Bursch, Alex Dullard, Cake Ninja, Joseph, Reddit is Harold Lauder, and Wash in the Wind.
Andy M. Knopford, George Brady, Michael Crawford. Hey, that rhymed! Andy M. Knopford, George Brady, Michael Crawford. Fun.
Hey.
Vanessa's fourth mom,
Fun.
Jameson. Oh my god, what is this game? Mary Queen of Scoffs, DeJethro, Ron, Sean Gonzalez, Jared Collins, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name. To Bumpkins just got back from an alternate timeline where Jim loves Chrono Cross but sadly drowned in the great washing machine flood. Hey guys, my washing machine broke this week. A man came and fixed it today. It was great. Pip is the best boy.
Was he hot?
I didn't see him.
Did your husband Don accuse you of cheating on him with
Yeah, he was like, Vanessa, get this guy out of here. Stop looking at my wife. And I was like, Don, there's a body in the shed, Don. And then I was like, I want to apologize for my husband. I'll just recap the whole game now. Where was I? DeJethro? Ron? Sean Gonzalez? Jared Collins? No, I already did all that. Pip is the best boy. Fight me. I won't. I agree. Andy Best. Citrus C. Gage La Charité. Chris Penyak. PJ Enns. Huxley Iguana. Benjamin Avner. Sean Walsh. Double Einlanzers and Matsumune X Strike to the heart. Wow. You really got me.
Mm-hmm.
Florian Jonas Kramer, the RBG Luminary, Ryan Miller, Erica Garby. Vanessa yelled at me to change this name. No, wait, this is Vanessa's for real 100% true actual mom, Jake Dickerson.
David Green, Ashley T, Chili's, Baby Back Mario, Nathan Poirot, Chrono Cross makes Jim Chrono Triggered, Megan Sullivan, Jonathan Ellsworth, Patrick Woves Bears, Sammy Mitchell, Sam Harrison, Aaron Bachman, Wonder Swan, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, Robert Pullum, Miguel Torres, I challenge the other Tracy to a duel to the pain, Race Jenkins, Cameron Shoei, Cyril the Wolf, Ome wa mu Shinderu, Robert T., Tom, Ross Hartley, Tyler Petty, Justin Ham, Breegirth, Devin Sloan, everyone in the U.S. should know how to speak Stanish, Brian Pitt, Ward, Childress, David Shook, Jim's Embarrassing, Amaranth, Back Tattoo, Vanessa, Matt Jorgensen, Vanessa Mom, and Stu Skill.
All right, everybody, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. You can email us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod.
It's true.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Also, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to RichaadEB for the Scars of Time cover. You can check out RichaadEB on YouTube, Twitter, and Patreon, and we got links to all those things in the show notes.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
I want to order a pizza with extra sauce.